Network's Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Radio Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Make sure to get great information or ask your important questions at donandgino.com. Now, back to your friends, Don and Gino.
Your friends are back. That's right, your friends are back in the vault. You like to use the vault? You get to use the vault by going to donandgino.com, DONANDINO.com. Click on the Listen to Chat Live, and voila, you enter the vault. It's closed up. You can't get in, except for, of course, Ryan Kiick and Robert Schwartz with Eureka Review and Princeton Review. We allowed you in the vault. You like the vault?
We appreciate it.
Isn't it cool?
I do. It's beautiful.
I mean, who doesn't want to get in the vault? There's usually money in the vault. There's always something in the vault you want.
That's it. You're going to have to push me out. I know that.
Well, thank you for taking time off your very busy schedule. Ryan flies all over the nation on a regular basis as one of the most sought-after speakers regarding test preparation. And we want to get into that. And Ryan, I was looking at your notes, and I love the comments you made because this speaks to home. It speaks to a lot of us that are nervous about taking an ACT or SAT or any test in general. But your statement was there's no bad test takers. I love that because all of us are afraid when we go and get in front of that final exam or the test or the big test. What do you mean by that?
You know, one of the greatest disservices, I think, in what's going on these days is the fun is gone from getting into college. When I went, it was supposed to be exciting, right? Now there's so much pressure, and it really manifests itself in this SAT and ACT.
Right.
And everyone is terrified of these exams, but they are intentionally difficult. And I think it's important we know that ahead of time. You're not a bad test taker. You've just never seen this type of question before, and that's where companies like Princeton Review and Eureka Review come in. There's actually a position within the College Board and ACT. They're called psychometricians. Their purpose is to build a test students will struggle with.
Oh, nice of them.
Yeah. You know, they do well if they've made a question near impossible.
Okay, now we know who writes all the guidelines for loans now.
Yeah, it's the same group of people.
Same
right?
idea.
Yeah,
Same idea.
They make it as difficult as possible. Thank goodness we can weed our way through to help you get into a home. Don't worry. Don't be afeared. We're getting everybody into homes.
Well, I can't tell you, and Don knows this, but I can't tell you how many times I've gotten someone into a home on the word must, or the word and, or the word if. Those are my favorite 3 words in the guidelines.
Like, but it says and or if. I got it handled. You are the master magician, Mr. Gino. If you need to get into a home, your first home, a bigger home, or try to get rid of your mortgage insurance, you need to talk to Gino Franti. This guy is a master magician when it comes to figuring out how to get you the best terms available, and I am just proud to be working with you, buddy.
I appreciate that, and you guys are the magicians in getting people into schools.
We are indeed.
Let's talk a little bit more about that, because what's interesting is that you just mentioned is tests in general are actually written that way.
Indeed.
And, you know, it's horrible because sometimes, even in our industry, you know, you read something and you know what you're doing. You know how to apply yourself. You know how to practically make whatever it is that you make. But then you get the question and you go, I have no idea what that means.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And the reason we have this is that I'm going to share some numbers that I think will put it all in perspective, in my opinion. Right? We have 4,000 colleges in the United States, give or take, 2- and 4-year colleges. We have 29,000 high schools. That's 29,000 valedictorians, 29,000 salutatorians. You know, there's no shortage of phenomenal students. They all take the same test.
That puts the numbers in perspective. You're like, oh, so that's who I'm going up against. 29,000 valedictorians.
Exactly. So in that context, a 4.2 GPA at some schools is actually just okay. So that's every applicant.
How about that, huh?
So they have to go to these tests. Right. And if every student who's great in school could also get a 2400, the test wouldn't be helpful. They need to sort and separate students. And that is why they are written the way they are. They help sort and separate students. It also makes them incredibly coachable. And the first pass makes them daunting and frightening to students. I want to change all that. To that point, I think the best thing students can be doing now is looking towards summer preparation. You know, juniors and sophomores this year, they're in AP courses. They're doing so many things during the school year. I don't know if you have children, but if you do, they're probably far busier than you are, even with your 14-hour days, because that's what student life is these days.
It's changed.
It's changed. I mean, remarkably.
Rob talks about how I got good grades in high school. I just did my homework.
Yeah.
I mean, and it took me an hour, 2 hours. I was done. Now, it's crazy. If you're not doing 4 hours of homework, you're toast.
Or sports.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the other thing, too, is, you know.
And karate and ballet. And, I mean, geez.
Yeah. Well,
no wonder the kids are all ADD.
I think that's one of the things that has changed, Don, since when you were trying to get into school versus now.
I'm ADD, too.
In order to differentiate themselves, in order to differentiate themselves, not only do they have to have the great test scores and have to have the grades, but they got to have some extracurricular activities,
Indeed.
right?
Absolutely. And the extracurriculars is an important part of the conversation today because a lot of students confuse that with doing many things. They jump into anything they can find. They play 5 sports, join 3 clubs, and they can just barely scratch the surface on participating. But what colleges are looking for are passion and leadership. So what I look for as a student and college admissions officers look for is a student that maybe only has 2 or 3 real core interests, but sees them through from beginning to end. You know, they join a club as a staff writer, yearbook, freshman year, but they're editor-in-chief by senior year. They didn't move into other things. They actually found something they loved and moved into leadership. And the summer is a great opportunity to try and display that as well. For instance, just for your local listeners, I wanted to kind of talk about some of the things you can do this summer as a student to show the kind of leadership and passion that admissions officers are looking for.
All right, let's hear from Ryan Kiick we're talking with the president of Eureka Review and regional vice president for Princeton Review, going to give us some insights of how you can improve your opportunities in college.
Perfect. And by the way, they're fun. That's the most important thing to me. Students can actually enjoy it.
We like fun.
Don't do it to do it. Do it to enjoy it and get into college along the way, right?
Well, you mentioned something. They have to stick with it. So find something you're passionate about and work on it.
You got it. Exactly. So one that I love is, for instance, there's a program that goes on at Texas A&M, right in Galveston, Texas, which is, by the way, a beautiful part of the country. And SoCal students, now they have to jump out and maybe see some new opportunities or other parts of the country, right? But you're going to go out to Texas A&M. They're going to learn all about marine biology, artificial reef creation, which right now in the Gulf is hugely important, as we know from the spill years ago. And they get to learn hands-on with some of the experts at Texas A&M. Think about that on your college application.
You're going to have to hold on to the fort. I'm going to Texas A&M.
And the part that I love about it is they actually say students will design an original research project and presentation. That's leadership. They didn't follow. They actually had to create something of value themselves, and that looks fantastic on an application, right? But think about it.
I love how you guys bring up other items that normally would not be thought of. Rob, you do it all the time. You're going, if they did this or if they said this, like you help them out with their essays, what they can and should say or how to say it, or the opportunity to show leadership opportunities. Here's my leadership roles. This is what I do. Most would go, well, I just got a high on the test. Well, there's other factors. Like you said, when you're going against 29,000 valedictorians, there got to be some other interesting factors for them to want to accept you.
So speaking as a parent, right, I've got separation anxiety from my children, so maybe Texas is a little too far for me, so anything a little more local than that?
Yeah, not only and different interests, right? So we talked about a science, but what if you love the arts? Right, which is great. LACMA has an amazing summer internship program. You get to be right at the LA County Museum of Arts, right down in Hollywood area, Miracle Mile. You're going to be visiting the museum. You're going to help with their installations. You're going to learn more about what goes into curating a museum. It's a fantastic internship. It's local. You're exploring a passion. And by the way, maybe you do that even though you want to go into the sciences. It just shows that you're interested in more than one thing. And it's a great way to flesh out your application while you're local and making use of your summer. Unfortunately, the days of sandlot baseball, that's what I did. Every summer for me was, I'm just going to go play baseball with friends. And I still got into college. That doesn't really carry the same weight it used to, and I know Rob can speak to it.
We should have a radio show
I was just going to
totally
say, we could absolutely have
a radio show internship over the summer. That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. And these are formal events, right? These are run by major institutions, but you can have a productive summer just on your own. You can start a charity locally. You can try and grow memberships for local community projects that are going on. So not everything has to involve travel, to your point. We're able to talk about things that a student does to really separate themselves. And what I encourage is you balance this type of activity with then your test preparation these days. I think that students, when they're away from classes, they're able to engage better with their instructors. They're able to focus on the preparation and really get the impact in the scores they're looking for, which, as we'll learn in a little bit, also has some significant dollars tied to it, which I think we'd all be happy to know about.
Great information from Ryan Kiick. Again, president of the Eureka Review and regional vice president for Princeton Review. One of the top national speakers regarding test preparation and college preparation in general. Real quick, because we only got a couple minutes, because I want to go into the list that Rob has. You're going to love this list. Again, the list that shows you have these scores, you have this GPA, this is what kind of money you can expect when going to different colleges. Real quick, explain the test prep piece that you do.
Absolutely.
Either one of you guys, jump on in.
I'll tell you what. Let me give you the Eureka side of the house, and I know Ryan can speak more clearly about Princeton's work in the community. We are primarily a one-on-one, in-home tutoring organization. We send a tutor to you based on your needs, your time frame. If your student is great at math, great. Let's not worry about the math. Let's fix the English part of the house. We do a great job diagnosing. Are you an SAT kid? Are you an ACT kid? What parts do you really need help with? I love that part,
by the way. You brought that up on our show many a times, and I wouldn't even thought about that. Everybody just thinks SAT is like the one, but you might have a different thought process of how you learn or take tests.
The tests themselves are so radically different. We also, as Californians, are rather sheltered in thinking this is the only test that's given in our state. Nationally, the ACT is taken at least as much, if not more, than the SAT is. There are, I think, a dozen states in the middle of the country that actually use it as their high school exit examination. It's a very popular test. It's a much more straightforward exam. There's very few tricks. And the best part is, find out which one you're good at. We'll offer you a free practice test either way. Become an informed consumer.
Oh, information. What a concept. That's what we do here every Thursday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Give you information to help improve your lives. And I hope you've been paying attention to Ryan Kiick and Robert Schwartz with some opportunities for your children that you probably didn't think of. And again, we're going to replay the show. Actually, all our shows are on donandgino.com. Click on the YouTube logo, and there's 317 videos on our YouTube channel now. How about that? There's some great information from great experts such as Ryan and Rob. And Rob, you're on a bunch of those things. We got you your clips. How about that, buddy?
Yeah, hey, amen, brother.
We keep trying to hide them, but Rob's like, I want them. But it's great quality information. Okay, so when we come back, Rob's going to go into that list that he took a lot of time to put together that shows if you have a GPA in this range, you have SATs or ACTs in this range, here's what you can expect from certain colleges. I can't wait to hear the details of that list, Rob. And we'll touch base a little bit more with how Eureka Review and Princeton Review can help you and your child actually get excited about getting into college. When we get back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show in just a couple minutes, don't go away.